This is how I've been approaching our hiking activities while we've been spending this time in Sedona. We were in Sedona for a month, and so that gives us good opportunity to explore the area. And there are somewhere in excess of 200 trails in Sedona, about 400 miles of hiking. So we're not going to do it all. But we've been trying to hike every day that we have good weather. And so on the 13th of March, we wanted to hike in this area here. To give you just a bit of context, the house that we've rented is in West Sedona and it's down here. For this day, we wanted to hike Chuckwagon. And my initial plan was to take this path all the way around and then come back to the trailhead here. Potentially do a diversion to Devil's Bridge, although that's an hour and a half to kind of go there and back. But the original plan was to do this loop here. We did not do that loop, and I'll show you why in a moment. If we zoom in a little bit and take a look at the Chuckwagon Trail, we parked at the Mescal Trailhead here, and we had to take a small hike. It's not all that short, mind you, but we had to take a hike over to the Long Canyon Road, which then allowed us to connect to the Chuckwagon Trail, which started here. You can see the elevation, roughly 4,600 or so feet was our maximum elevation, and our minimum elevation was 4,400. So we didn't have a lot of climbing on this hike. We were out for roughly, well, 3 hours, 2 hours and 49 minutes. But we spent a fair amount of time not moving. You can see here that we had a stop time of 41 minutes. And I'll share with you why that happened. But you can see the elevation profile as we did the hike. So, you can trace it. You can see how it kind of went up and then came all the way down. So when I had originally planned the hike, I didn't really take into account this creek. There's two of them. Well, it's one creek, it's Dry Creek, but it splits into two for this period here. And when we got there, the reason why we stopped for 40 minutes was that we were debating, should we try to cross this creek or should we stay where we are? And it turned out that there was another family on the opposite side having much the same debate. So we watched them, come across. We elected not to go across. It was quite deep. Current was very fast. And really, I think at the end of the day, we just didn't want to sort of get soaking wet, and knowing that we'd have to cross again here, and obviously coming back, we knew about this one, but we thought that there'd be a way for us to avoid this part of the creek here. But certainly here we couldn't. So as a consequence, we had to double back from the Dry Creek. Now, there's nothing in the material that I reviewed that told me that you had to wade through a fast-moving river. I mean, they call it a creek, but it's more like a small river. And so we had to content ourselves with a shorter hike that day, and that was fine. I mean, our moving time was about 2 hours and 8 minutes, and perhaps given all of the longer hikes that we have been doing, might not have been a bad thing to have taken a little bit of a break. But if you are hiking in this area, I'd strongly recommend getting an app to help you. This is obviously on my laptop, but it's the same app on my iPhone. You can download the map. The GPS is always available to you, even if you lose cellular connectivity. And it's very helpful to sort of see where things are going and what you might opt to do. We could have picked a different loop on the way back and done a little more hiking. And again, having the map handheld there for you gives you a sense as to distances and time and all the rest of it. And that's how we approach some of the planning activities for our hikes.